fascist state? And he looked at me, he said, this happened in my office. He goes, they don't mean the same world government as you. Yeah. And then I'll have Media Matters call me up. Ring, ring, Media Matters. It's the editor of Media Matters. I go, you're funded by George Soros. No, we're not, Alex. And I pull up the Federal Elections Commission stuff where they're funding it and the different filings for nonprofits. I go, well, it says $1 million here, $1 million there. I mean, it shows he's the head guy. And they go, I mean, here's my biggest frustration. These people operate in a world where they're just used to everyone not knowing the three branches of government, not knowing anything. And then they just say, there's no world government. They go, there's no world government. I read these police training manuals. They come in daily now. And it's like, if they talk about a world government run by banks, I've actually seen one that says, go ahead and bring them in. And chiefs, don't get mad if your guys bring them in, because they're probably a terrorist. I mean, you can watch European C-SPAN, those different feeds. It's all world government, mega banks taking over, but they're telling the cops, if somebody talks about this, go ahead and arrest them. They're probably a terrorist and they want to kill you. But see, it's having an opposite effect. As people wake up to the hoax, as the world wakes up to this fraud, it has the opposite effect, because they're like, well, everybody's saying world government, but you say it doesn't exist. The minute the public loses their trust in this system, it's over. The system has gone so over the top that that's their weakness. And so the question is humanity scum? Is humanity weak? Will we give in to this technological tyranny? Will we be conned by it? Or can we see through this elaborate giant hoax? Because it was Hitler that said, the bigger the lie, the better, the more they'll believe it. And so when something is so giant, so huge, and everyone around you who's a bunch of trendies who goes along with whatever's said because they're in the in group, they're yes men, they make being followers and yes men cool. That's what trendiness is. When all the trendies are saying it must be that way, you've got to be the person that says no. But you can't do it in a timid way. You are literally fighting for free humanity and talking to someone who's in a zombie-like state. And so how you deal with them is your prerogative. I agree with Jim Mars that sometimes it's good not to preach, but just to ask questions. But in my humble view, on average, it's best to hit somebody in the head with a 2x4 politically. It is. No, I mean, it is, because here, I'm spending my time trying to warn somebody about something. I mean, I'm talking to some yuppie or trendy who's saying something to me. They come up and make a joke when I'm in the grocery store, and I turn around and look at them, and they think their disdain has any effect on me except for me having pity on them. So I guess it does have an effect. And they're laughing at me. And I just tell them, well, okay, I mean, if you really think things are going good, and you really think the government doesn't lie to you, and you really think everything's wonderful, I guess you're right. I guess everything is okay. And you've got a lot of power groveling to the system. And I turn away from them with my shopping cart. It's happened like 20 times. And they start going, no, I agree with you. It's a problem. Oh, wait, you just wanted to feel powerful and make me feel like I was shunned for some little petty power trip you're on. I'm way beyond that. I've done this with police many times when they're threatening to arrest me, protesting or whatever. And I just go, oh, you really like your kids growing up in this tyranny? You really like playing these games with me? Just go ahead and arrest me. Go ahead and beat my head in. Go ahead and shoot me in the back of your patrol car, because you got all the power. But know this, I'm not selling out like you are, so go ahead and do it. And at that point, those groveling to the system lose all their power, because I don't care anymore, and I'm beyond all your games. I'm beyond your whole matrix, your whole system of bullshit. It's over. When I talk to you, when I meet you in person, I'm just like, my God, why am I the person even up here doing this? I mean, humanity has got so much strength. We've got all the cards in our hand if we just play them. That's all we got to do. Human destiny we control our environment. Technocrats are engineering us. There's no other creature on this planet that can do 1/1000th of what we do. There are no creatures that can even begin to do anything. And let me tell you, I love elephants, I love whales. I love the raccoons that break into my garage and rob the refrigerator. I even set a camera up to watch them. About 10 of them invaded my dad's house. He took photos of them sitting on the counter, sitting there eating apples. But they're not designing rockets. They're not building computers. They're not making beautiful music. And again, just value who you are. So much of defeating the globalists, everything they do is about making you think you're crap, making you think you're worthless, making you think you're petty. So you need to buy into their system when every human being on this world is beautiful and is amazing and is a creature of unlimited potential. But we are able to control our environment. So an inbred group of psychopaths that I'll get to in a moment, they are creating a false environment, like we're at the zoo or something. That's how they see us. Henry Kissinger writes books calling the military dumb animals. I mean, they constantly talk about how we're animals, we're scum, we're trash. That's how they always sell their abuse on different groups and people. And now across the board, we're dumb animals. We don't have a soul. They have a soul because they're illuminated and they deserve to go on and we deserve to die. No, we're just not twisted freaks like you that would figure out elaborate scams to cheat and hammer and screw everybody. It's you, the cancer, that is the aberrant problem. It's you that needs to be kicked off this planet. So we control our environment, just like this theater, this Coliseum, this cathedral we're meeting in, that was built in the 1930s, 80-something years ago. We control the environment. You individually, everything you stand for is incredibly powerful. Don't ever forget how powerful you are. So the social engineers have created this artificial system. It's not complete yet. People say, well, are they in total control, Alex? No, they're trying to get in control. They've got a lot of power. They're able to steer things. And we're in there trying to steer the ship away from despotism towards freedom. And that's the issue. There's nothing they can do against people power. There's nothing they can do when the individual is enlightened, when the individual is aware, when the individual is involved, when the individual realizes that every little thing they do adds together and that many hands make light work. That is what the global system is afraid of. So they are creating an artificial environment for us all. We should become aware of it. We should realize all electronics, all systems we're given on record. I've interviewed Dr. Stallman, all the big engineers, are designed to control us. We're paying with the iPhones and all the rest of it for the back doors that they built into it. And I'm not saying, oh my God, don't use an iPhone because they control it and are tracking us. Just realize you've got a powerful enemy weapon that's meant to be used against you, and you better use it against them. Because a weapon can be used by whoever's hands it's in. Realize this is powerful technology. This is Star Trek right here. And this wasn't given to us because they want us to, buy their $200 phone made by slaves. This was given to us because it's meant to track and control us. But we're going to use this tool against them. And while we use the tool, we're going to talk about the Trojan horse built into it. You understand that? We're getting in the ring with the system. That's what we're doing. And we're aware of who we're in the ring with. Now, moving quicker here. Fighting tyranny is not work. It is destiny. It is fulfillment. Survival is winning. Wonderment is winning. Realizing how beautiful life is. Watching flowers grow outside your house, or ants building a ant bed, or watching your children play. This is all incredible, and we're not going to get fulfillment from the globalist brainwashing corporate system. We're going to get fulfillment from what it is to be alive on a planet hurtling through space, orbiting this sun in the Milky Way galaxy. And with that, I got to give you a line from a Rush song. Put aside the alienation, get on with the fascination, the real relation, the underlying theme. Reality is what matters. Look, I can talk to millions of people, more than 3 million people a day, but there is so much more energy. It is so much more real to actually be here with you now. And I want to talk about this. Here's Wired Magazine, the latest issue that Rob Jacobson bought and brought to me. Your next car will drive itself. And they've already said, and a whole bunch of states already have robot 18-wheelers and robot cars. And they're already saying, as I said they would do 5 years ago, the robot cars have less wrecks. Maybe you shouldn't be allowed to drive. And the robot cars are watching you. And the robot cars know when you've been naughty. And I've got all these articles, how they're going to do it, just like all the drones. Oh, you think the military loves Ron Paul and is waking up? Yeah. We got like 10 years till everything's combat droids on the ground and AI, self-aware, autonomous kill drones. The New World Order is taking all your energy, all your work, all the science you develop, all the things you do, and building a Skynet. You know, Skynet predates the Terminator. The Terminator isn't life imitating art, it's art imitating life. You can go pull up Pentagon documents about a SkyGrid Skynet from the 70s and all the drones they were going to have. And then I interviewed the former head of Star Wars program. He said by the late 70s, you were told it was launched in the 80s, they already had hundreds of drones in orbit with Sabo DU rounds that could decapitate every government on Earth in 1 hour in the 1970s. That's where the national security state is. That's where your money went. That was almost 40 years ago. Why do you think they're so arrogant? But despite the fact that they have all that power, they're still scared of you for a good reason. If we can turn this around before they get their automated robot system in place, we've got a good chance of beating them. Once that robot system's in place, then it's time for God to step in. And just like Nineveh was given a 100-year reprieve, we can have that. But we have to stand up and do what's right, even if you don't believe in God. The point is, the New World Order believes in evil. So what do you believe in? You better ask yourself that question. The controllers know that we are not animals. They know that we are builders and creators, as I said earlier. And they are attempting to not just play God, but to become God. The problem is they're not God. And that's why everything they create, it now turns out it was 40 years ago they cloned rabbits and sheep, probably earlier with the Nazis, but admitted now. They were cloning humans 30 years ago. You can pull this up. They would, quote, kill them when they were in the embryonic phase. If you believe that, I got a bridge I'm going to sell you. And everything they've done has been a poisonous abomination. None of it works. Neutron bombs, hydrogen bombs, everything. I showed you a video earlier. This is on the national news. Oh, we fired several hundred high-powered hydrogen bombs into the atmosphere to see if we could ignite the planet's atmosphere. And they asked them, so it would burn the Earth up? Well, that was the test. You're like, well, why'd you do that? It could kill us. Well, because we're scientists. Again, it's this power trip that they're on. The controllers know, again, that we're not animals. They all day try to teach us that we're animals, that we don't have free will, because they want us just to believe that we're these programmable creatures. They're attacking our free will. They're buying and selling men's psyches, women's psyches. They are counterfeits to everything good and wholesome in life. They want our free will shut down, just like the John Carpenter